So, if we're all in agreement that it is incorrect to say the 2020 election was stolen, what about the 2016 election?
Look,
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Guys, I am ready to declare Peter Doocy the greatest journalist ever. Okay, I'm ready to give him the title as the GOAT. Because this guy asks all the right questions, the same questions that I have been begging the mainstream liberal media to ask the Democrats while they are fear-mongering about the so-called war on democracy and how you're not supposed to make certain claims about the election. And boy, I'm going to tell you, Peter Doocy drops the mic on Karine Jean-Pierre by calling out her hypocrisy and the Democrats' hypocrisy as well by extension on this issue of making certain claims about the election and the threat to democracy. But before I get into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you don't support my channel, you can check out some of my new merch, my donkeypox shirts, the disease that is affecting America, or my hashtag no days off / hard work patriotic t-shirts, or my MAGA Hub shirts. There's plenty of new merch for you guys to check out at my website, gforemanbcp.com. Get 20% off using discount code GForemanBCP. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll this epic clip from Peter Doocy confronting Karine Jean-Pierre on her hypocrisy. Take a look.
Follow up about the MAGA Republican attention. So, if we're all in agreement that it is incorrect to say the 2020 election was stolen, what about the 2016 election?
look, I'm not going to go back to where we were or what happened in 2016. We're going to focus on the here and now. We're going to focus on what's happening today, this inflection point that the president pointed out very clearly, very decisively in a few speeches about what the country needs to do at this time to bring the country together. And he believes that's where majority of Americans are when it comes to protecting our democracy, when it comes to protecting our rights, and when it comes to protecting our freedoms. That's what we're going to talk about. That's what we're going to focus on where we are today.
But just in trying to understand the new attention on the MAGA Republicans, you tweeted in 2016 Trump stole an election.
I was waiting, Peter, when you were going to ask me that question.
Well, great. Here we go. You tweeted Trump stole an election. You tweeted Brian Kemp stole an election. If denying election results is extreme now, why was
so
it then?
let's be really clear that comparison that you made is just ridiculous. I have been
ridiculous?
well, you're asking me a question. Yes. Let me answer it.
And you said it was ridiculous.
I was talking specifically at that time of what was happening with voting rights and what was in danger of voting rights. That's what I was speaking to at the time. And here's the thing. I have said Governor Kemp won the election in Georgia. I've been clear about that. I have said President Trump won the election of 2016.
President Trump won the election of 2016.
And I've been clear about that. What we are talking about right now is, let's not forget what happened on January 6, 2021, when we saw an insurrection, a mob that was incited by the person who occupied this campus, this facility at that time. And it was an attack on our democracy. Let's not forget, people died that day. Law enforcement were attacked that day. That was the danger that we were seeing at the time. That's what the president has called out, and that's what he's going to continue to call out. So yes, when you have MAGA Republicans, a extreme part of Republicans who just deny or do not want to really say what exactly happened on that day, or say it was a protest when it clearly was not a peaceful protest. That's not what we saw on that day. Yes, the president's going to call that out. And here's the thing, majority of Americans agree with him. Majority of Americans agree with this president on protecting our democracy, protecting our freedom, and protecting our rights. That's what we're talking about today, and that's what the president's going to focus on. All right, we're going to have to move.
Wow, the cognitive dissonance of the Democrat Party never ceases to amaze me, okay? They might just need to call themselves the cognitive dissonance crats, okay? That's what they should call themselves, because that's what their party is, okay? They're the party of hypocrisy, right? And Peter Doocy is calling out Karine Jean-Pierre on her hypocrisy. Did you guys notice that Karine Jean-Pierre almost slipped up? Like, she almost choked when saying the truth about how Trump won the 2016 election. She hated to admit it, bruh. She couldn't stand it. Did you see it? She almost choked up, right? So Peter Doocy calls her out because the Democrats are right now making claims about the midterms in 2024, saying that it could be stolen, that they're not going to let Republicans steal the election from them, okay? A claim that they say you're not supposed to make. You're not supposed to make claims that an election is stolen, okay? Because apparently it's impossible unless Republicans do it, according to Democrats. So Peter Doocy does the job of a journalist here and calls out Karine Jean-Pierre and the Democrats' hypocrisy on this issue by saying that, look, we all agree that you can't make these claims about the 2020 election because all presidential elections are 100% free and fair. So why in the world was it okay for you guys to make these claims about the 2016 election, in which people like her, evidenced by the tweet that Peter Doocy brought up, claimed that the 2016 election was stolen from Hillary Clinton based off false conspiracy theories that were pushed by Hillary Clinton too, by the way, allegedly, that had no basis in reality whatsoever. These were objectively false claims, not backed up by any facts and evidence, practically identical to the things that they claimed you're not supposed to say about the 2020 election. They were saying that about the 2016 election. Now, Karine Jean-Pierre, who tweeted about this, said that not only was the election stolen by Trump, okay, in 2016, but she also made claims about the Georgia governor race, saying that Brian Kemp had stolen the election from Stacey Abrams. False claims, by the way, backed up by no facts or evidence whatsoever. And when asked to justify how this makes sense, how is it that Democrats can make these claims that they say are a threat to democracy, but Republicans can't? Like, what's the difference here? Okay, what's the difference? It seems like the same thing to me. Of course, Karine Jean-Pierre's answer to this question is, well, our conspiracy theories are true and yours aren't true. Therefore, we can make these claims even though there is no evidence for the Democrat conspiracy theories, like voter suppression, which is 100% a conspiracy theory from the Democrat Party. That is their way of making claims about the election while also saying, well, we're making them in the name of social justice. We're making false claims that the GOP is taking away the rights to vote from black people, and that is why we lose. Because black people weren't allowed to vote by the Republicans. Meanwhile, all the statistical evidence and data suggests that this is false. The 2020 election had the highest turnout ever. The primaries had the highest turnout ever in Georgia and Arizona, two states that passed these so-called voter suppression bills, right? There's no evidence whatsoever that anybody's vote is being suppressed. However, Democrats say, hey, it's okay for me to make claims about the election because I believe that my false conspiracy theory is true, even though I don't have any evidence to back it up. Okay, which tells you this is not about facts. It's not about what's true and what's not true. It's simply about Democrat control and authoritarianism. That's what it's about. We can make this claim, but you guys can't. You don't have freedom of speech, but we do. Okay? Because if you exercise your freedom of speech, you're insurrectionists. And then you see how Karine Jean-Pierre does what every Democrat does when confronted on their hypocrisy, especially when it regards to this issue. They deflected January 6th. But January 6th, they're trying to act like it wasn't a riot. They're trying to say it was just a peaceful protest. They're trying to act like people didn't get hurt. They're trying to act like that didn't happen. Oh, the same way you guys act like that the BLM riots / Antifa riots were just peaceful protests. You guys acted like they weren't super spreader events. You guys acted like they weren't destroying neighborhoods and communities across the country. You want to act like they weren't looting businesses, right? You want to act like people didn't die. Yeah. Again, the cognitive dissonance here really blows my mind. I can acknowledge as a conservative that both things happened. January 6th happened and the BLM riots and Antifa riots happened, right? Both of those things were wrong, right? Both of those things were bad. I think the BLM and Antifa was way worse, but both things were bad. Democrats will never acknowledge anything, right? Because they believe that everything they do is justified in virtue of the fact that they're Democrats. And everybody else is wrong because they're not Democrats. That's what they believe. They have no principles. They will make whatever claims they want to make about the election because by definition, Democrats are on the right side of history. They're fighting for democracy. They're fighting for social justice. So therefore, we can make any claim we want about the election. I'm glad that Doocy called out Karine Jean-Pierre on this. And any so-called journalist who is asking questions in response to these claims from the Democrat Party talking about the so-called war on democracy and how you're not supposed to make certain claims about the election, they should all be asking this question to the Democrats and Biden administration. Why is it okay for you guys to make these claims, but it's not okay for the Republicans to make these claims? And the answer is never based off any type of principle or sound reasoning or anything like that. It's always just Democrats good, Republicans bad. Okay, that's why BLM/Antifa riots, fiery but peaceful. Okay, January 6th, nothing but a riot. Okay, an insurrection, right? An insurrection. You can make whatever claims you want about 2016 election, 2020 election. Don't ask questions because we agreed with the outcome of that election. And if you do ask questions, then you're an insurrectionist, right? But, just forget about 2016 when we didn't agree with the outcome of the election and all the things we said. That doesn't apply to us, right? We don't hold ourselves to the same standard. That's basically what this is, okay? Democrat hypocrisy has to be called out, right? It is all over the place. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.